Is it me, or are electric cars starting to get more and more desirable? Back in the day, they just seemed to be a bit meh, nothing you'd actually aspire to own. But things are changing. We're now seeing a ton of massively desirable EVs, the latest of which is the Ioniq 5 from Hyundai. Crazy how things have changed. I just said Hyundai and desirable in the same sentence, and literally none of you batted an eyelid. So the Ioniq 5, it's the first model in Hyundai's new Ioniq EV sub-brand. It's yet another electric crossover, yes, but how cool does this thing look? It's based on the equally cool Hyundai 45 EV concept that they showed off back in summer last year, but this one isn't a concept, it's a proper production car that's actually coming to the road. According to the official dimensions, it's a similar sort of size to the Mustang Mach-E, so 4.6 meters long, 1.9 meters wide, and 1.6 meters tall, with a massive wheelbase. The distance between the front and back wheels is 3 meters. That's almost as much as you get in a BMW 7 Series, so the amount of room they have inside to play with is huge. I'll come back to that. First, let me talk to you about the key specs. Now, there are a couple of different configurations for the Ioniq 5, including 2 battery options, a 58 kilowatt hour or a 72.6 kilowatt hour, either with rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. The top model obviously uses all-wheel drive with motors that make a total of 225 kilowatts and 605 newton meters of torque, which allows 0 to 62 in a pretty impressive 5.2 seconds. In terms of range, the standout is the rear-wheel drive model with the 72.6 kilowatt hour battery pack, which can travel between 470 and 480 kilometers on a single charge, or 300 miles. Now, that's actually really good for that kind of battery size. The Jaguar I-Pace needs a 90 kilowatt hour battery to do the same sort of range, so the Ioniq 5 should be much more efficient, not to mention cheaper since it needs a smaller battery pack. What's probably even cooler is the speed at which you can recharge this thing. The car's built on Hyundai's eGMP dedicated battery electric vehicle platform, which can support both 400 and 800 volt charging infrastructure, which is the world's first. That means it can charge at up to 350 kilowatts, meaning you can go from 10% to 80% in 18 minutes, which is rapid. You only need to charge the car for 5 minutes to get an extra 100 kilometers or 62 miles of range. Obviously, 350 kilowatt chargers are very thin on the ground in the UK, but I think one does exist. Still, fast charging, nailed it. Maybe the most clever aspect of this car's charging capability, though, is the fact that it can charge other electric vehicles. It has a couple of plugs, one inside the car and one outside the car next to the charging port. And that enables vehicle to load, or V2L. Basically, it means you can charge anything, your PlayStation, a set of speakers, a bouncy castle. If you wanted to, you could actually connect this electric car to another electric car and charge that up at a rate of around 3.6 kilowatts. Mad! Okay, let's talk about the interior. Looks quite good on the whole, I like it. The highlight is that big info display, which consists of 2 12-inch screens. It looks a lot like what you get in Mercedes cars actually, and in fact it also has a head-up display that shows your speed, but it can also overlay augmented reality navigation directions, arrows on the road on the screen, just like an S-Class. Not bad. I mentioned earlier about how the long wheelbase gives the Ioniq 5 plenty of room inside. Apparently the wheelbase is longer than you get in the Hyundai Palisade SUV, which is massive. So this allows the car to have the physical dimensions of a compact SUV, but the interior space of a large family car. And they've actually made clever use of the space. There's a universal island sliding console in the center, which moves between the first and second row, which seems quite clever, if a tad unnecessary maybe. You get a little pull-out drawer instead of a traditional glove box, which is a really nice touch. The seats recline so you can chill out while the car charges up. And you also get these little footrests, so the car actually looks really comfortable with loads of legroom and probably loads of headroom inside too, given the fact that it's quite a boxy shape. As for materials, well, quite a few of the touch points in this car, the seats, the headliner, the door trim, the armrest, use eco-friendly, sustainably sourced materials, such as recycled plastic bottles, PET, and plant-based paints, which is all very green. So those are the major highlights on the Ioniq 5, but it's probably also worth looking at some of the finer detail as well, like the really intricately designed alloy wheels that almost look like a piece of jewelry. I love that. all the squared off headlights and tail lights that give the car a really solid, chunky look. Also, the intricate, angular design of the bodywork. I think it's phenomenal. They've done a really good job with this. How much will it cost? Well, not as much as you might think. Apparently, Hyundai are selling a fully loaded Project 45 limited edition model to early adopters for around 45 grand, which is actually quite reasonable, all things considered. What do you guys think? Do you like it? Is it a Tesla rival? I think they're really onto something cool here. Let me know in the comments below if you agree, and don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.